So this is a return client where there had been dampness underneath a metal staircase, but we correctly identified the root cause of that and the damp has disappeared. However, there is dampness now above a solid floor along the corridor, which has damaged some of the timber, including the skirting board that's been removed here. Here I'm using a radio frequency protimeter damp meter to measure dampness. Above 300 is damp, 999 is what I look for. That shows a lot of damp.
So just to say that, so there is some rot here, but it's relatively minor and it's not at the base of the wall. This timber is not sitting on the floor, so it's not structural. Likewise, there's a small gap under here, so therefore that's not structural. There is more rot around here. It appears to be cellar rot. Can't be 100% sure, but it's not dry rot. And it's primarily old. It doesn't feel current. Using, well, I'll use this one. So it says it's wet, but it's not. It's definitely not sopping wet. So it is fairly superficial. There's some simple solutions which I'll give to you in the report, but you've got some metal there. Wonder what that is. Wonder if it's, I don't know. But anyway, that won't necessarily account for the dampness on the wall. Simple solution I'll give you is to run basically a chemical barrier down here, and that will solve that problem.
Oh, yeah. Here I'm identifying metal using a metal detector. It appears that perhaps an old gas pipe or electrical pipe has been left in the wall, and that's exacerbating damp.
And I'm guessing it just no one's removed it. So it's the metal that will exacerbate any damp issues. It will show the same.
Is that temperature?
No, it's moisture.
Okay.
So it's using radio waves.
Yeah.
It's better than surface, but typical surveyor will use the surface,
Yeah.
Which is, this one will do it. You have to put it on building, and yeah, so it's showing. So a typical surveyor is going to say that there's rising damp in this wall,
Yeah.
but actually seems to be from a leak. The other thing to be aware of is that in here you've got a risk of condensation on those pipes. This is
Which pipes? The electricity pipes?
no, the other end where the condensation, where we saw it on the
I think they go up before.
okay, but they're still along the wall there. They're still in the vicinity.
The profile of damp whereby it was running along an internal wall above a solid floor made me wonder whether there was a leak. So I tested for a leak. I tested for a leak by immersing the kitchen tap in water, slowly pouring it, turning the stopcock off that isolated the flat from the other flats and the mains. Now, if there was no leak, the water should remain at the top of this jar, but it was clearly dropping down. There can sometimes be benign reasons for this, such as a slow drip on a shower head or cistern or external tap. I checked all of them, none of them were showing signs of leakage. So I suspect there's a leak. Sometimes it's almost impossible to find. It's not part of the heating system because that's isolated. Although I'm a believer in identifying and solving the root cause of dampness, in this case, The leak could well be underneath concrete. We don't know where. It could be very difficult, time consuming and expensive to identify the leak and then to repair it. There could be a more pragmatic solution using chemicals such as dry zone, which is a siloxane that reduces absorption of damp in the walls, but rather than taking the damp-proofers approach by drilling into wall, which anyway would require party wall agreement, the simplest solution is to just run a bead along the edge of the wall, and that's what I'm going to be recommending in the first instance. To be clear, I'm recommending damp-proofers cream, not because I think it should be used very often, but occasionally it is the most pragmatic approach. There's going to be no ongoing damage caused by the leak, which anyway is a fairly minor leak and will be falling down from the building. The only damage that it's causing is to timber and a little bit of dampness to the base of the wall, and the timber is not structural. I was asked to look at another damp patch. This was in the rear bedroom. There was a brown stain. Brown stains tend to come from water penetrating through, such as the roof. This is just a quick add-on item. Looking at the bitumen roof, it looks like there are a lot of holes, but my gut feeling is what's causing the dampness here is paint that has come off the outside walls and is causing absorption. When you have a surface coat that's impermeable, such as paint, water can get in through the paint, won't be evaporated back out through the paint, but penetrates through to the inside wall.